to 33. I am Jacqueline, and for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this is my second episode. However, this is the first of what I will call my usual lineup. My first episode was just an introduction, so if you have a chance to watch that, feel free. You can learn a little bit more about me and why I'm here. I'm just going to get right down to business. It has been a very busy semester. I'm tired. I've had a lot of work to do for my last 2 classes in grad school. I've already earned my master's degree, but I've been working on a certificate to go along with it. And I'm only taking 2 classes, and right now it just seems like so much. And I have projects coming up. One of them is due in a few days. The other one is due in about 10 days. I have not really started either one of them, but I have found time to sew, because when I get stressed, I have to be creative. I have to get rid of that stress somehow. So yesterday it was about 80 degrees here in Maryland, Western Maryland. Today it's 50. And I took advantage of yesterday, and I went and I dug in the dirt. I planted one of my garden boxes. I have 5, and I planted one of them, so that was a good start. Tonight we're supposed to get some rain. Tomorrow's supposed to be windy. Tomorrow night I think it's supposed to get down below freezing again, so gotta get out there and cover my vegetables. But anyway, going back to the creativity, because it's been so cold for so long here, we just keep getting snow and then a break and then more snow. My activities have been, forcing me to stay inside pretty much, because I can't do them outside. I can't do my gardening when there's 3 inches of snow on the ground, and I just can't. It doesn't work. So I've been reading my stash of fabric, and I have come up with some wonderful things, and I'm quite pleased to share them with you. So, first order of business. There is a book called Gertie Sews Vintage Casual, and this is the one that I mentioned in my introduction episode when I was talking about the full skirt with the zipper. This is where that pattern is, and I found this on Amazon. I learned about it on a podcast called Inside Number 23, which is hosted by a lovely British girl named Katie, and I think that you should look her up on YouTube and give her a follow. Anyway, Gertie Sews Vintage Casual. The subtitle says, A Modern Guide to Sportswear Styles of the 1940s and 50s. And the best part about this is it's so easy. It is so easy to make these items. I've made the full skirt 3 times in the last 3 weeks, and I've also made a shirt to go with at least 2 of them. So that has been a wise investment of my time, although I'm sure some of you would disagree and say, no, you should be working on your schoolwork. Since you are a teacher, you know how that goes. Yeah, you're right, but I have a problem. So I am going to share with you this pattern, okay? And the pattern that I've made out of this book is called the Flared Skirt. Take a good look. This is fantastic. And as you can see here, she has used striped fabric, and there is a seam down the center, and she has laid the pattern pieces on the bias, which means the grain line runs diagonally across the grain of the fabric. Instead of going with it, straight of grain, she's got it diagonal so that it lays nicely, it drapes nicely, and diagonals are always very flattering for every figure. Especially if you're like me and you have an athletic body, which translates to you don't really have a whole lot of the hourglass shaping going on. You have a waist, but it's not really visible to everybody else. My curves are all on the back. More on that later. Anyway, today I am wearing one of the skirts that I made from this pattern, and I am going to stand up and share that with you. So this top is from Old Navy, and I love it. It's quite comfortable. It's quite cozy, and it has the scoop neck in the back. I think I bought this last year. I can't remember. But yellow is not really a color that I wear well, simply because my skin tone just doesn't look quite right with it. So I usually try to stay away from it, but I really like this shirt. I have it in red and white as well, and I'm quite pleased with how it fits and how it feels and how the color looks on my skin tone, because it's not bright yellow. It's more of a mustard, school bus mustard color, I guess. Anyway, it goes with my skirt that I have made. And pardon me while I stand up on my chair. Okay. So as you can see, I have a very full skirt, and you'll notice compared to the picture that my skirt sticks out a little bit more, and that is because I have crinoline, which I ordered on Amazon. I have Amazon Prime, and I am a junkie. I love it. So it's a very, very simple skirt. The version in the book has 4 seams. There's one down the center, one down each side, and then another one down the back. So all 4 pieces are the same. Well, yes, all 4 pieces are roughly the same. And 4 seams, and then it has facings at the waistband rather than an actual waistband. So I'm going to give you another close-up here. Right here we have the zipper, okay? And in my last episode, I did mention about invisible zippers and just zippers in general. People usually try to steer clear of them because they think they're scary. They're not. This is what we call a lapped zipper. And if you look at your jeans, which you're likely wearing, you'll notice that you do have a lapped zipper. If you pull back the flap on your fly, you'll see that your fabric is stitched very closely to the zipper teeth, and then the other side of it is a little bit further away, okay? So that is a lapped zipper. At the top of a lapped zipper, it always helps to have a hook and eye. And what that does is it keeps the garment from gapping at the top. I'll just unhook that real quick and you can see the difference. That's undesirable in clothing. So we use a hook and eye to keep it closed. On this side, even though the pattern does not call for it, I did add a pocket, and it is very handy. I love having pocketed skirts and dresses. So that is very, very simple, and I can show you in my next episode exactly how to install a zipper and how to add a pocket on a side seam where there may not be one. This is another version of the flared skirt from the Gertie Sews Vintage Casual book. And as you can see, there is a zipper pull right here, and you're probably noticing that this looks a lot different from a regular zipper. Well, that's because it's invisible. So if you take a good look, as we go down the seam line, you really can't see it because it is essentially invisible, okay? So if I am to go ahead and undo this, I'm trying to do this underneath a very awkward phone holder, okay? If you open that up, here's our facing, which I have used a serger overlock machine on the edges to keep it from unraveling. And you can see here where my stitching is, very close to the zipper teeth, but not too close, because if you get it too close, then it's just a disaster. And I will explain that later as well. Okay, some more things that I want to show you here on the facing. You'll see a line of stitching right here, just under where we fold it over and press it in. This is called understitching, and what that does is it keeps the facing pulled to the inside of the fabric and prevents it from rolling to the outside like it sometimes wants to do. If you've ever purchased a high-end dress or gown, like say a bridesmaid's gown or something from David's Bridal, you will see that they do have understitching everywhere possible. And I know it's hard to see here because I did use matching thread rather than contrasting, but you can see where the facing is sewn onto the skirt waist, right there. That's that seam allowance. And you see how the understitching brings the facing to the inside and keeps it there, okay? On the other side, we have our pocket, okay? So the zipper goes on the right hip, and the pocket, or the plain seam, goes on the left hip. And what I've done here is I've also understitched this, And then I've stitched it here to make sure that the pocket is always pushed towards the front rather than the back, because it's very unsightly when you are trying to get something out of your pocket and you have to reach around to your butt and pull everything forward. That is annoying, and it's just troublesome, and it's not cute. So those are some of the features of this very, very simple skirt that can help you, feel a little fancier and feel more accomplished in your skills, okay? Also here, I want you to see these two lines of stitching, this one and this one, and there's a third one here, which I will explain in just a moment. So these two lines of stitching actually are to help keep the seam allowance down. That's all that was, okay? It makes me happy. I know that it's going to stay put. And then over here, this third line of stitching, you can see right there, I have stitched over my top stitching on the inside of the pocket so that I can make sure that the pocket stays to the front, because again, we don't want the pocket floating around to the back side and whatever we put in it, being there when we sit down or anything like that. All right, so those are two things that I've made and two techniques that I want to show you, technically three. Zipper installation, and I will show you both a lapped zipper and a centered zipper, which you can do with the type of zipper that I have in the skirt that I'm currently wearing. And the invisible zipper will be the third type of zipper that I'll show you. With the lapped zipper and the centered zipper, you always want to make sure that you do have that hook and eye at the top, just like I showed you, because when it gaps, it's just not, it doesn't stay up as well. It doesn't look finished. And I have skimped in the past and just been like, oh, forget it. I don't need a hook and eye, whatever, I'm in a hurry. It's always worth the 5 minutes that it takes to sew one on. So in addition to the zipper installation, I will show you how to understitch and also how to install a pocket on a plain seam. Another thing that I would like to share with you is a pattern that I had overlooked in this very same book, and I don't know how I managed to overlook it, but I need this. I need this in my life. This is the zip front dress, and it is absolutely adorable. I stinking love this, and I need it. I think I need more than just one. So I'm gonna hold this up a little closer to the camera, and I do apologize for any shaking that you might experience. It's on a gooseneck stand. But I wanted to point out to you right here that there is piping. That's that solid blue cording around the edge. And then you have two pockets, one here, which you can identify by the piping at the top edge, and the other one over here, okay? A lot of people steer clear of piping because it's an extra step. It looks like it's difficult. It's not difficult. Yes, it's an extra step. Yes, it takes extra time. And yes, it can be a colossal pain in the butt, but it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. I recently made a dress from a Simplicity pattern. It is a 1940s style. I made it twice, actually. The first time I made it in a green twill with a cream colored twill for the collar. And it has brass buttons down the front. And honestly, one of my male friends told me that it looked a lot like a 1940s post-war dress. Like some woman who, had rank in the army and was now finished with the war, still stuck in wearing the army uniform type clothing. He said, "You look like you could really get some stuff done." So I took that as a compliment because that was actually the look that I was going for. The second one that I made, though, I made it out of a brown and tan Glen plaid suiting, and it did have some gold thread running through it. It's very pretty. And I did use brown, solid brown piping around the collar and the lapels, and also on the shaped seams on the bodice where the skirt attaches. And the look of it is just, it's amazing. I love it. And I do have some 1940s inspired two-tone T-strap heels that I wear with it. I got those from a website called Shoegasm, and that will be displayed on your screen. The brand that produces these shoes is called Chelsea Crew. I will also add that to your screen. And you can see a picture of these shoes in both colors in which I own them on my Instagram account at The Sleepy Bee. So I think that's enough for today. It's been fun. I'm going to get my homework done before I take out any more fabric and cut anything else out. So it's been a pleasure, and as soon as I have a chance, I will cut out another skirt. That will be my reward for finishing my projects. I'll cut out a skirt. I will have everything ready to go for our next video, and I look forward to seeing you there.